Hi, my name is Gabriel, and this is my story. So, the theme of this week was I am, and my story involves me finding my identity in Christ through one of my testimonies, because in life we just have different testimonies. And so, at a young age, I had to deal with the fact of my mom leaving me for another woman, and not only that, just my parents separating in general was just a hard part of it. It was just so different because I had been getting used to the fact of having two parents, and now I had one. And even my sister wasn't talking to anybody. My other sister was rebelling against my father, and it was just really reckless and different, and it was just, I couldn't even handle it. And so I just kept crying every night, every morning, asking, where's mom? Because I knew that she was my source of comfort. She was the place that I knew I could hold her, and she would just comfort me in any way, any shape, any form, just because she was there. And it is because of the fact that I knew she wasn't there, it hurt my heart, it hurt my head. It was just like my whole body was just in pain, and I just couldn't handle it. And my dad was depressed, and for him to comfort me, it was just too hard for him, because it was like he was going through the same thing I was, missing his wife, and that was just too hard for him. So as I got older and I had to learn without having my mom, I just became more depressed and more just like saddened by the fact that I didn't have my mother. And I used to hide it when I was a kid by thinking I'm happy, I'm okay, there's nothing wrong in the world, but there really was wrong with something me inside. And as I went to church and I went to Sunday school, I thought, saying the right answers, doing the right thing was just getting me through life and just getting me to where I wanted to go. But it wasn't cutting it. And so as I got older and older, my dad got remarried, and I was still dealing with the fact of my mom had left, and I just didn't understand what was going on still. My dad still hadn't told me what had happened. All I knew is that she was not there. And so when my dad finally told me, I thought, oh, this is all my fault. It's because of me. And I was so saddened that she felt hurt by our family, and she just felt unwelcomed. And it just made me feel like I wasn't welcoming her, and another family was, and so it was all my fault. And I had to realize that it wasn't my fault. And God had to reveal to me as I got older and started going to my children's ministry more often, that it wasn't my fault, that God still loved me, and that is my identity in Christ. And there is nothing that can change that. And I had to also learn that I was an overcomer, because I got through this horrible struggle that made my family broken and made me broken, and it felt like we weren't able to be fixed ever again, but I got through it because God was with me. And as I got to learn that I was an overcomer, I made a prayer one night for my New Year's resolution, and I said, God, I really, really want my mom to come back. I know there's no way possible that she's gonna get remarried to my dad, because obviously my dad is remarried, and there's just no other way that could happen. But I just want you to have her back in my life. I want her to be a big part of my life, and I want her to be a godly woman in my life. And so when I made that prayer, the next night, I came home, and I remember it clearly because I was just so happy. And my dad gave me a hug, and he told me that my mother had left the house of the woman she was living with, and now she was just saved, and she was just so happy to be free of that lifestyle. Of course, she had other stuff to deal with. Of course, she still had broken relationships with me and my sisters, but she was free, and I was just rejoicing. And because of that, I learned that my identity was in Christ, and always will be in Christ, because He has set my family free, He has set me free, and I am not my family's problems.